The next girls that I'm going to introduce, and please help me to welcome them. First off, there's Ojeda Palomata. She's escorted by her mom, Teresa Palomata. And this is a little letter that she wrote, a little essay. Joining wrestling has been an amazing experience. It has shown me that I am capable of doing whatever I set my mind to. Wrestling not only boosted my confidence level, but has also helped me to build the determination needed to succeed in life. I fell in love with the sport because it's a great motivation, and it allows me to challenge myself mentally and physically. Not only that, but it gives me an unexplainable adrenaline rush and an all-around full-body workout. I would like to take the opportunity to thank my coaches, Moises, and my family for your continued support throughout my years of wrestling, especially my #1 coach, my dad. Thank you for all the knowledge you shared. Without it, I would have never gotten this far. Last but not least, my mom, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for waking up early, taking long trips, and win or lose, always being there to cheer me on. Being on the wrestling team is a learning experience that I will cherish and value for the rest of my life. Please give a hand for Desiree Palomata. Now the next wrestler I'm going to introduce is another Palomata. Very tough girl. Her name is Destiny Palomata. Now here's her essay. I want to take the time to thank all my coaches I had throughout my life for training me and pushing me. I want to thank my friends and family for believing in me and supporting me, especially when I was on my way to Nationals this past July. I want to thank my dad, especially for convincing my mom to let me participate in this sport. Also, I'm thankful my dad has been my #1 coach and has been in my corner since day one. Winning state for a 3rd time this past year is an accomplishment that I could talk about forever. And my trips to Nationals was a life-changing experience. Being a girl wrestler has taught me good workout and discipline. Discrimination motivated me to never give up, even if it means holding a bridge so I won't get pinned the whole match. I don't want to be remembered as the girl on the team. I want to be remembered as an inspiration to others and a great wrestler. Please give a hand for Destiny Palomata. The next wrestler I'm going to introduce is Jesus Arriaga. He's coming out with his brother Tony.
Jesus!
Come on, guys, give a hand to Jesus Arriaga. I transferred to Ojeda Vista High School last year, and I've been wrestling ever since. At first, I wasn't too sure about wrestling. My brother always told me it was a great sport and that I should try it. Eventually, I joined, but I regret not wrestling since I was a freshman. My coaches, family, and friends have all inspired me to do my best at one point, but the person who has been there to teach me when I wasn't in practice is my brother. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be wrestling today. What I have learned is that it is one of the toughest sports ever. You have to be totally dedicated to it, because without sacrifice, there can be no victory. In conclusion, I am glad I decided to wrestle. It's part of my life, and I'm going to remember it forever. Please give a big hand to Jesus Arriaga. I want to present Nathan Humiston, escorted by Dr. and Mrs. There's his reflection essay here. This has been a big year for me. It is my second year wrestling, but it has been as it has been my first. Just as big as my first, excuse me. I'm glad that I was able to have a great team to compete with this year. I was surprised in a good way when I saw how many newcomers we had this year. I'm sure they were encouraged by the high organization that Mr. Sandoval and many parents of Bonita wrestlers have made for our team. The wrestlers on this team have been great friends from when I first met them. This is because we are united in a good team spirit, and we push each other to our limits. It is our greatest friends that make us go our hardest and do our best. So I think that makes Coach Ojeda and the assistant coaches my friends too. Also, we keep laughing at each other. I went to Idaho for a week during the season, and Coach keeps referring to potatoes around me. I have loved wrestling. It gives me a place to let out my energy and be in a highly competitive environment. It has benefited me by making me physically stronger and with developing more willpower. I know the parents have done a lot to help the team, but they have also taught me something. They have shown me how to contribute to an organization that unfortunately they are just a little too old to be in. Also, all in all, I am glad to see that they care so much for us. I have gotten 5th or 1st at tournaments this year and last. The first place medal, I am the proudest because it was at Metro Conference. And lastly, Coach Ojeda, I've learned that good wrestlers have potato power. Please give a hand to Mr. Livingston. Next wrestler I present is Taku Furukawa. He's escorted by Miss Furukawa. Hello parents, wrestlers, and friends. My name is Taku Furukawa. It seems unrealistic that it's my last year of high school. I've been wrestling since my junior year, and it seems not too long, but my memories were made. The carpooling bus rides, going to tournaments, the laughs we had while we waited for our matches, the intense practices, and the easy practices. The end of sophomore year, William told me that I should join wrestling. At first I was a little hesitant because I heard that wrestling was one of the hardest sports, but I gave it a try and I got hooked. Seeing the crazy throws and the moves made me imagine myself doing it and making the crowd go wild. Wrestling has taught me about determination. Since I started so late, I had to work harder to be at the level that I should have been if I had started when I was a freshman. First and most, I would like to thank my parents. Even though they couldn't come to most of my matches, they've been super supportive and making an effort to come and see me wrestle. I would also like to thank my teammates and coaches, especially William, Allen, and Sosa. They have all inspired me to get better and work hard to be the best I can be. Please give a hand to Taku Furukawa. Next wrestler is William Ramirez. He's escorted by Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez. Oh, that's a long one here. Yeah, Will! Okay, these past 4 years have been filled with so much change. The biggest change came with all the things wrestling brought into my life. What started as a way to lose my baby face turned into a sport I love. Sophomore year, I tried out for the wrestling team because I heard that it was a hardest sport, both physically and mentally. This sounded like a challenge. If I could overcome wrestling challenges, I could overcome anything. From dual meets to the tournament to intense competition, I was definitely put to the test. The most difficult tournament by far was the Shark Tank tournament. Not only was it the toughest competition I've ever faced, but also one of the many moments where I connected to my teammates and grew to really love the sport. All wrestlers were forced to sit outside in the hallways. Here during our break between matches, we become bored and start messing around. This is where a lady proceeded to shout, "Put your shirt down," at Gus for dancing topless. This memory will always be one of my funniest moments I've shared with my teammates. These past 4 years of wrestling have strengthened my endurance, given me self-control, and taught me that victory comes with great sacrifice. Endurance came with the endless hours of practice. Self-control came with the controlling what I eat, which is no easy feat. Lastly, victory came from learning from my failures. All wrestlers want to have their hands raised after every match, but being on Bonita's team has taught me that I have to put in hours of work, be dedicated to the sport, and learn from my mistakes in order to achieve success. I want to thank my parents who have always supported me and sacrificed their own time to stay at matches and carpool me and my teammates before the sun came up. I love you, Mom and Dad. Thank you to my bros, Alan, Taku, Gus, and Chowder. You guys are incredible. I couldn't have gone this far without you guys. And thank you to Coach Trice, Coach Maldonado, Coach Ojeda for pushing me past my limits to make me a better wrestler. You have all shaped me into the person that I am today. Please give a hand to William Ramirez and Mr. Winston. Last but not least, I'd like to present Alan Breland. Alan Breland is escorted by his mom, Mara Baker, and his brother Taylor. Wrestling is one of the biggest moments, the biggest and most important part of my high school experience. Being a veteran wrestler has taught me many things. It has taught me endurance, discipline, focus, leadership, drive, and desire along with countless others. Wrestling has sculpted me into the person that I am today, and I am grateful I have had the opportunity to wrestle here at Bonita Vista. I would like to thank all the people who have helped me to become the wrestler that I am today. My mom has always been supportive and has traveled to many tournaments to watch my matches all year round. She would wake up early to get me to the weigh-ins and stay the long hours until I was done. I would like to thank my brother for being an inspiration to me. He's been my most worthy opponent. I also would like to thank my teammates over the years, the seniors who kicked my butt as a freshman to freshman of my final season. Finally, I want to thank my coaches over the years, Coach Bruce, Coach Jerry, Coach Yu, Miss Stephanie, Coach Price, Coach Ojeda, and anyone else who I've had the pleasure of calling Coach. Please give a hand to Alan Breland. Thank you for joining us. Our match is going to be starting shortly.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to make a short announcement. The snack bar, if you bought